chickens, potatoes. That fruit grew from the ceiling, and mush that he squished.
And that's not all. When Paul started to crawl, he even created earthquakes. You know, those things that make the ground shake.
Oh, and they put Paul in the lake every time Paul rolled over in the cradle. It caused floods that flood the crops. The folks even complained to my parents about this.
And fishing pole. Oh yeah, and some of those rocks and leaves.
Poor little bearded baby, all alone with no friends. Paul even cried for 90 days and 90 nights. That was after he made the Great Lakes.
Yeah, Paul cried until he made the Great Lakes. He stopped crying because he heard a kill sound. When he stopped, he saw fish leaping in the lake of his tears. Paul got my father fishing pole out and began to fish for trots. He even took my father's knife and started to clean the scale of what he just caught and used my father's axe to cut wood from the fire.
Paul cooked and ate the fish and actually smiled for the first time in 3 months.
No doubt, however, was there a wild snowstorm on the morning of Paul's 21st birthday. It was the most coldest day of December when Paul woke up. Cold gusts of wind and snow as he prepared to leave the cave. Paul pulled on his black coat, his long yellow scarf, and his snow boots.
Then grinning, Paul marched into the blue snow. Suddenly, Paul hears a strange sound.
Who's there?
Ma.
Who's there?
He felt really sorry about this because he thought it was a big...
Ma.
Where are you, babe?
Paul finally found a tail sticking out of the biggest baby ox on the earth, except for its horns. It was a deep blue color.
Ma.
Quiet down, babe.
Paul whispered to the cold blue ox as they walked home together, causing another earthquake.
There now.
He said, setting the ox down near the burning
Action.
Timber!
He shouted. A loud crash sounded us.
All right, let's go haul them to the Big Onion and go for the sawmill.
He told Babe, because it was miles, a step Paul and Babe. They got there in no time.
She's too crooked. Our logs won't make it through the bend.
Paul said to Babe as he scanned the river with his long telescope.
Let's see if we can fix it.
He tied one end of the rope to Babe's harness and the other to the end of the river.
Pull.
Babe used his strength to pull the rope. Soon all the bends were cleared out of the river.
There's she start
Straight.
could be. Ha. Let's send the logs to the mill.
Soon Paul and Babe traveled smooth and quick through the unknown woods of the north. They cut pine, spoke, and red willow in places like Minnesota, Michigan, and Wisconsin. They cut cottonwood wood for farmers, waited impatiently for more land to grow wheat. They cut oak away for corn. The summer after the corn was planted was so hot that corn popped into a 10-feet flood of popcorn in Kansas. The wind blew the popcorn across the state like a blizzard. In fact, it looked so much like a blizzard that the cows froze to death.
Not noticing the huge ditch left. It is not called the Grand Canyon. Oh, it is now called the Grand Canyon. When they returned from the trip west, Paul and Babe rested at the Big Onion River.
One night, after the two had spent the whole day sending off thousands and thousands of logs down the river, Paul was so tired he could not move a muscle. As they lay there under the stars, Paul, his body ached.
Babe, it's time I started my own logging company. I'm going to hire a lot of people to help me clear the forest. Ever since I've been left in my cave, I had never talked to a human in 30 years. This is going to be a very big change in my life.
The whole next day, Paul and Babe made signs and posted them in the North Woodlands. The sign said, "Loggers needed to work for Paul Bunyon. If interested, come to the Big Onion." Pause.
The news spread like a wildfire. Everyone knew Paul Bunyan, yet they were ready to work for him. Millions raced. The news spread like a wildfire. Everyone knew Paul Bunyan, and yet they were ready to work for him. Millions raced off with their tools. Paul wanted the strongest men, so he set up a competition.
If you're 10 feet tall and could blow 6 buttons off on one breath, you passed the test. About a quarter of them met the requirement, and they were accepted. He then built the biggest logging camp they have ever seen. Bunkhouses is miles and miles long. Bunks in the bunkhouses were about 13 beds high. Chow tables were long enough to pass the salt and pepper, almost a month to pass it around all the way to the other side.
Paul and Babe dug many ponds, but they are now known as the Great Lakes. This is why the problem for the chef.
Due to oil, this every overground frying pan.
Call 100 men over every sunrise to skate around on bacon fat. Cook away when you're done.
Paul covered the griddle problem right away. He had to hire a bookkeeper to keep track of the food bills. Then the man he hired was Johnny Insinger. He calculated the payroll and kept watch of Babe's hay and grain bills, plus millions of other.
Johnny used a fountain pen 30 feet tall to connect it with the hose that led to a pond of black ink. Johnny was smart enough to save 500 gallons of ink a single year.
But their feet are falling off each time they work.
That's bad, Paul said, thinking of an idea. Tell them to let their whiskers grow. When they're 6 feet long, let them cut their beard and knit it into warm socks.
Both lanterns have frozen flames, but that doesn't seem possible, replied Shorts.
That seems simple. Take the lanterns and store them till winter. Now that's what I'm talking about. Any more?
Good idea. Shot side last problem, sir, replied Shot. As soon as I'm ordering
The men used chicken wire to cover themselves and wall the bunkhouses with 2-ton boulders. Paul decided to take matters into his hand. Then he sent them to invade a Hawaiian sugar ship on Lake Superior. When they got so fat, they sent them to a circus in Florida. There were tons of stories of Paul and Babe, the Blue Ox, and the Big Onion Company. For hundreds of years, loggers sat around pot-bellied stoves and told the adventures of Paul Bunyan. Then they told Paul and Babe's logging adventures in Minnesota, then to Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. They were last known to be somewhere in the Arctic Circle. The loggers are gone, but stories still hang frozen in the air of the North Forest, waiting to be raised.